Welcome to my garden tour. It's the end of June, so it's officially summer, and here in South Florida is the plurge. It's hot, it's humid, and it rains almost every single day. It's the survival of the fittest, so without further ado, let me show you around. Here's my little pumpkin patch. Believe it or not, this is just one plant. This is a Seminole pumpkin, and I think I started seeing some females, but so far just the males have bloomed. And in between, these are sunflowers. These are Titonia sunflowers. This is my Milky Way, as I call it. It's all milkweed, and it's completely covered in caterpillars. Just see that recently some more cosmos. These are the old ones, and they're huge right now. This is the sensational mix. This is my volunteer cucumber, which has gotten out of control. This was not supposed to be his trellis. This was not planned. I had here my yard long beans that are trying to overcome the cucumbers, and they're already producing, and we have some already trellising up. Down here is a sweet potato container. This is Roselle hibiscus. I have another plant here. It's not doing as well. Some Thai basil, and this is Tulsi, holy basil, which is often confused with Thai basil, but they're completely different. This one is an avocado tree that my daughter grew from seed. She did all by herself. She's 9 years old. She just watched a YouTube video and she followed instructions, and it worked out. Like, the lower leaves are being eaten down by beetles, but I think it should be okay. Here's my first raised beds. On this side, I just transplanted some Everglade tomatoes, which are going to replace my San Marzano tomatoes, which are huge, but they're no longer producing. They're flowering, but they're not putting fruit, and that tells me that they're done for the season. It's getting too hot for them, so I'm gonna cut them down and probably plant some peanuts instead. Around the beds, there's some zinnias. This is a dahlia, which is not liking too much the rain, and this that is trailing up is a chayote. On this side, this hot mess is tomatillos. It's actually two plants, and they're doing fantastic. And in the back, over here is some okra, which is just beginning to form buds. The dill put on a beautiful show and is now going to seed, so I need to collect the seeds. This container is actually my berry container. You see that there's some strawberries and blackberries in the back. But since it's summer and they don't really like our harsh sun, I placed some zinnias to shade it during the summer. And this is a mazurkia and a senora zinnia. In the space between the raised beds and the arches, I have a little pollinator area. I have amaranth, some lavender, rudbeckia, black-eyed Susan, and marigolds. In between, there's some chamomile too, and yarrow. On the arch trellis, the first thing you see is a zucchini rampicante. This thing is massive. I don't know how much it weighs, but it is a lot. I have Boston pickling cucumbers. On the sides, giant amaranth, butternut squash. The loofahs are trailing up, and they're doing pretty good. There's 3 plants. One is here, one over there, and one is already all the way up. The first plant is a Malabar spinach. On the other side, this is a Python snake bean, which is actually not a bean at all. It produces like a very long squash. They say it's a very good asparagus substitute, so I want to try that. Let's walk over the other raised bed area. It's looking a little sad right now because I just removed some things. Here were my onions, and I just received this area with zinnias. My strawberries are in the containers around. If you watched last video, I gave a haircut to my peppers, hoping that they will come back. And some didn't, some did. But the ones that did recover are doing beautiful, and they're already putting peppers. This is a Carolina Reaper, piquino peppers, habaneros, Tabasco, sugar rush peach, and poblano. This is the hot spot in the garden. In this area, I have a cosmo, yarrow. I just directed some more zinnias, and over here I have a Turusel plant and a Caesar spinach. Also called Brazilian spinach. This is the kind of green that you want to put on something like your burger because it can hold that crispiness. Okay, try to visualize with me. Here is the area where I'll be placing more beds for the fall. There's going to be one here. And since this is the area where I get the most sun during the day, here's where my tomatoes are going to be, my large tomato slicers. And then there's going to be 3 large beds going this way. New fence coming soon. So imagine fence like that one on this side. Here's the raised bed that we saw earlier. I have some cactus zinnias, calendula. This is what the cactus zinnias look like. It's a little crazy. So we have some pineapple sage, Tahitian melon. These little plants that you see everywhere, their sunham is a cover crop. So wherever I didn't have something planted, I planted a cover crop to improve my soil fertility. Chamomile, blue basil. This is Mad Hatter pepper. I recently harvested, and it's already putting a new flush. My papaya tree is officially taller than me, but still no papayas. More blue basil. This cantaloupe is taking over all the other plants. This is another Mad Hatter pepper. Over here, I have a cantaloupe, and it's going like in all different directions. That's a periwinkle. And in between, there's also a sugar baby watermelon. Here's a cachucha pepper, and you see all my zinnias are starting to branch out. I just went the other day, I think a week ago, and I topped them, and that forces the plant to pull more branches. The reason all my zinnias are looking like this is this little guy right here, the Sri Lanka weevil. This is my worst enemy. Carmen pepper, blanket flower, more zinnias, petunias, and this is another green substitute. Cranberry hibiscus, to not confuse with the Roselle hibiscus. This you actually grow for the leaves. It has a very citrusy flavor. I like it. This little section is looking a little empty because here were my corn, my squashes, and all the little plants you see is cover crops. These zinnias are double red scarlet. So on the opposite side, it pretty much repeats the same pattern that was on the other side. So you have jalapeno, cranberry hibiscus, zinnias, petunias, blanket flower, Carmen pepper, more zinnias, periwinkle, more watermelon. This is a funny one because this is a root crop, is cassava, but everyone who sees it thinks that is the devil lettuce. It is not, I promise. El lacinato, more zinnias. The watermelon keeps going this way. There's a cantaloupe over there, and Swiss chard. This is an elderberry tree, and before you come for me, I know it's very close to the fence, but I plan to exfoliate. Coming this way, all these beautiful large plants are African blue basil. It's my favorite variety to grow here because it grows so well in the heat. I have an eggplant, more blue basil. In the bag is Italian peperoncini. Another papaya, and in the back, I need to create some kind of structure for my jicama. This is another root crop, and it's a legume, so I eat trails, but it actually produces a root. So even more African basil, more eggplant, and I just realized that I call the tree over there elderberry, but that's actually a mulberry. This is my elderberry, and this one also I plan to exfoliate. This one is marigold, sage, and under this blue plumbago is bell pepper, which I think is really enjoying the shade that the plumbago is giving. Some sweet potato vines. Dahlias are beginning to suffer from the constant heat. Gomphrena, Cheyenne spirit coneflower. There's another coneflower behind this giant lemongrass. This is the purple coneflower. Some dahlias. That in the back is a flowering tree, is a angel's trumpet. More sweet potato vine, more dahlias, Cheyenne spirit, another angel's trumpet, more gomphrena, and my snapdragons are beginning to bloom. Another dahlia and another plumbago. On this side, underneath all this basil, I have some culantro, which is a cilantro substitute. Has a stronger flavor, so you need to get used to it. And the basil is doing amazing as well. Over here, this is an oregano, a variegated oregano, and I love how it spreads. This is my small ginger patch. This side is looking a little empty. This is floss flower, a gardenia. My compost used to be here, but I already spread it, so I need to figure out what to plant in its place. On the other side, there's more zinnias, lemongrass that I propagated from the one that you saw in the front. And this is a malanga. Can you believe how big the leaves are? Huge. This is also a root crop, but I think it's like beautiful ornamentally. I started from tubers back in February. So March, April, May, June, 4 months, and it looks already like this. These are cordylines that I started from cuttings. Golden shrimps, more cordylines. On this side, more zinnias. Down here is the Cuban oregano. It smells really good. Some aloe vera, more malanga, and aloe vera. Cordylines. This giant monster was started from a tiny seed, so one plant. This is why they tell you not to put your mint in the ground, because it really spreads. This is lemon balm. This one is a firecracker. It makes these like super cute little red flowers. And this is something that is considered an invasive weed, is a Biden's alba, but something that you might not know is that it's actually edible. You can do leaves and has very good properties. More Cuban oregano, and this is my giant Italian parsley. If you watched my last garden tour, you might remember that this plumeria wasn't here, was actually back there, but it came down during a storm, so I decided to change its location. Hopefully here it doesn't get as much wind. And I actually like this better, and I'm planning to place a walkway this way. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to see more of this content, or you don't want to lose next garden tour, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.